little bit off track. We kind of had a little bit of pre-meeting before meeting, so why don't we call the meeting to order. Are you reporting, Marcel?
Yes, I actually have a hand rule here as well as the, yes.
Perfect, okay, thank you. So with the benefit of a little bit of that preamble, we're going to call the meeting to order, and thank you for joining us this evening. I'm glad you came out on this hot night. In terms of opening remarks, actually Melissa and I have met before, but just for the sake of the audience, I'm Rhonda Goldstein.
Erica Apple.
No.
Erica Apple. Michael Warner.
We have another Police Advisory Commission member, but he is off for the summer. Welcome. So how about in the opening remarks, let me just talk about what's happening today, literally today with the Police Advisory Commission. So some of you may have seen there was a story on, this is actually in the Inquirer, in the Daily News, and on Philly.com about that we have hired a permanent executive director. I think that we all need to acknowledge that Erica stepped into a, with all due respect, Mr. Chapin, not a fully functioning system at that point, short-staffed, under-commissioned, and has tried her best to get things on track, and we're grateful for that. And I think we would all agree that a permanent executive director is, what we needed and where we were headed. So it's always the plan. Yes, Erica. To be clear, Erica took the job with the understanding that that's not what she wanted to do. That was not her goal. So we have hired this person. By we, the city found, the city did their review process. They found a candidate. Michael Van Geffen and I had an opportunity to meet with Hans and approve him. Mujib was recovering at that point and was unable to make it. Chuck Walsh was unable to make it. And we had an opportunity to talk with him and see what he could bring to the city and what he could bring to this job. And it seems like he has a whole lot of passion and he's opening to figuring out how best to steer the commission. So we are happy to have him on board. He starts
October 2nd.
October 2nd. So his first PAC meeting, official meeting, will be October 16th. For the September meeting, we will invite him. It's not clear whether he will be able to make it. We also have in the offing, not quite sure how far into the offing, but the new commissioners, we expect the names of the commissioners to be appointed and identified shortly. And our goal is that if you stay with us and by October meet us wherever we are meeting, we will have our new executive director and a full complement of 13 commissioners. So I think it is a step forward. I have, I imagine I will have an opportunity to thank Erica again, but I'm a big believer you can never thank a person enough. So I think I'm gonna take this opportunity to thank Erica for, I'm always bad with boat metaphors. I always wanna know you're steering the tiller, you're doing something, but for keeping us afloat, so thank you. So I think with that, unless there are questions about Hans.
And I have some more points about him in my report.
Perfect. Okay, so why don't we then hold any questions or maybe about Hans, and Erica can raise them in her report. So the next item is the minutes. So we've all had an opportunity to look at these minutes. Okay. Moving to accept the minutes. Do we have a second? Okay, all in favor? Okay. Thank you very much. So, please.
Yeah, now for my executive director's report. The status on August complaints, as of right now, we have a total of 160 open complaints. Out of that 160,
Please.
40 were pre-2017. Total 20, which means total 2017 complaints are 120. Cases received for audit since July 7th, which was our last report out, there have been 38. And the total of closed cases for 2017 has been 9. So that's kind of where our status of complaints falls. Between our last meeting and this meeting, we've had a number of community outreach events. We participated in, I'll run through these fairly quickly. The Gun Violence Prevention Task Force Press Conference. We held the, as Rhonda mentioned, and some of you may have come to, the PAC screening of Detroit.
Incredibly disturbing film.
Do not go see the movie. We had observation, we had some observation of the Black Lives Matter Pennsylvania March against police violence on 7/28. On 7/31, we attended National Night Out Kickoff at Marconi Playground at Broughton, Oregon, as well as a kickoff at Norris Square at 4th and Lehigh. On Tuesday the 8th, we did again National Night Out events, so the 25th Police District, 24th Police District, 15th Police District. On Friday the 4th, attended the 18th versus the 19th District Community Softball game at Belmont Plateau. On Saturday the 5th of August, Honey Park Community Festival and Family Triathlon, as well as the Pennsonville Community Day. On Saturday the 12th, we had attendance at the Nice Town Give Back Festival and Bike Ride. I'm sure Marcel was part of that. And attended the Black Lives Matter Philadelphia screening of documentary Who Streets. So those have been our activities since our last meeting. And as Rhonda mentioned, our new executive director is a gentleman who lives in Jersey City now, is working in New York, by the names of Hans Manos. Hans has worked kind of with a variety of vulnerable communities and marginalized youth, recent immigrants, victims of domestic violence, and families in crisis. He's currently leading the position of Senior Director for New York's Crime Victim Assistance Program. He has helped form and oversee a partnership between Safe Horizon, the largest victim services agency in the country, and the New York Police Department. He previously worked as the Director of Youth Services for an agency that provided reentry services, as well as alternatives to incarceration and detention. And lastly, he served as a forensic social worker in New York's court systems. And so he comes from a criminal justice background, from an advocacy background, from a victim services background. So the sensitivity to what communities face in interaction with law enforcement, police, and the criminal justice system, we'll have an acute sensitivity to that, which we think is really important in beginning to build trust and building relationships, and having had the opportunity to build a relationship with the New York Police Department, as well as a victim services agency, we believe is critical. So he was like one of my favorites in the picks, and so I'm really, really happy that he made it through to the final round. And just again, and we'll keep reminding you the next meeting is going to be September 18th at 6:30 at the King Session Recreation Center at 49th and King Session Avenue. If anybody has any questions on anything that I mentioned in here, on the complaints on Hans, I'm willing to answer that. I have some information on our open case list that is open to share. At this point, wanted to open it up to just talking about some procedural things that we have happening now. Ms. Marcel, can you talk a little bit about that in terms of communications?
You talking about the?
Yeah.
Okay.
What was the date of the next meeting that you said?
The 18th. It's always the third Monday.
Okay, at 6:30.
Yeah.
6:30, King Session Rec Center. What do you mean? So, I'm sorry. You don't actually do kind of public engagement stuff for the commission, as well as shoot and everything else. So I wear many hats. Some of the things we're working on is making the data more accessible. I don't know how many of you looked at it, but I have updated the City of Philadelphia government's website.
PAC.
PAC, I'm sorry, yes, sorry. PAC's website. Basically, we have 3 simple tabs. One is meeting and events. What's great about that is it's not just our meetings and events, it's also community events, partners, constituents, stakeholders. So you can go there and even if we can't attend, fortunately we are a small team, but we won't work on it. But we do have people who send up their events and we post them for your viewing pleasure or anybody else, so you can refer them. And that's all across the city. There's no discretion, things of that nature. We also have another tab, publications, our annual reports up there. We're going to work on more future publications to come. That's all I can say. Beautiful. Look at that design. Our the executive director put it together alongside with our investigators who gave her the information. I was going to credit the credits too. And I just looked at them both while he did it. And the last tab is
Resources.
resource. Within the month, we're going to put up what's called resources, things you find. Like one of the things we're going to post up is a glossary of terms, police terms that you basically want to look up, you want to see what it means. We're converting to be more of a community-centric program for the community. So we want to be able to everyone speak the same language. So again, that's what that's for. We're going to put up data once we put all that together, things of that nature. If there's any questions or comments, you can always email us at pac@phila.gov. We also have monthly notices, which if you signed your email onto our sign-in sheet, I will add you to the monthly notice, where we'll send out whatever's going on for that month. It's beautifully made. The guy who made it put his heart and soul into it.
Thank
You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a nice meeting, but we're curious to know what's on your mind. We appreciate that you took the time to come out and meet with us this evening. Are there any questions that you have, any statements?
Yeah, I'm here for a specific reason. I don't know if it's time.
It's time.
Okay, my name is Sandra Reed. I'm here about Commission Complaint number 17-003 that I have not really received a response to, as I was told I would receive a response. My email to Erica Atwood have all gone unreplied to. I finally sent an email to Brian Abernathy about that. And in my email, I mentioned that the Police Advisory Commission has been compromised by the Philadelphia Corrupt Detectives that I'm having a problem with. Ever since July 1999, I was about 53 years old when I became involved with them. I will be 70 next month. And they're still framing me. I'm still having problems with them and their people. They own Philadelphia. That's the same. I can't think of any place I have been since July 1999, including city council, okay, where their influence has not been present. I don't know what to do. One day Brian Abernathy sent me a one-line reply to my detailed email saying that my message had been sent to IAB. He didn't even spell it out. Last week, a Lieutenant Frazier called me. My cell phone indicated the conversation that the phone call lasted 12 minutes and 52 seconds, I think. Of that, he put me on hold about 3 times. Okay? The last time he never even came back to the phone. A person identified herself as Lisa picked up the phone. She said she was a secretary here. She said, and I can't quote her, but it was as if she just noticed somebody still on the phone. In other words, he hadn't even told her to address me, to come and let me know he wasn't coming back to the phone. I don't know if he is really Lieutenant Frazier or an imposter. On my cell phone showed a 685, the telephone numbers, the incoming telephone number started with 685. I thought all divisions, city departments started with 686. I don't know, I emailed Brian Abernathy, about that. And, you know, I was wondering if, saying, you know, is this guy legitimate? You know, is it really a Lieutenant Frazier, with, Internal Affairs? And, whatever else I said in here. I haven't received a reply. These detectives, had me gang raped. I passed even from my record. I had gone back, to the 14th district to put in another complaint because at the time I didn't realize I was being set up by Internal Affairs, okay, that they were protecting these detectives. I went back to put in a complaint. When I got there, there was a policeman standing in the vestibule, and so I went to go, I didn't think anything of it at the time. I went to go around to him, to go to the main part to put in another complaint. And he did like this and blocked me. And I was pushing up against him, trying to force my way around him. The next thing I know, 2 other policemen came in and they started grabbing for my legs. The first policeman had me under my arms, and I was kicking, trying to prevent them from grabbing my legs. They took me out to the van, and they put me in the van. They closed the door. In a few minutes, one of them came back and put me in handcuffs. They 302'd me. They took me to Albert Einstein Medical Center, Old Brook Road. They didn't take me to their psychiatric department. That I was taken to the 7th floor. That those crooked detectives went from Einstein. They call it Tower 7. They went out and got homeless people, brought them back and cleaned them up, and had them posed as patients. I was put in one room, wasn't nothing wrong with that room. But shortly I was taken and put in another room where a lot of things were broken. The significance of that is they claimed that when they put us in there that we did that and we had to be restrained and everything. Subsequently I was gang raped in there.
Ma'am, I want to ask your indulgence. So this is a public meeting and this stuff is being streamed live, and I want to protect your privacy.
Well, I don't care about my privacy.
I understand.
I've been going through this. Whoever can help me. I don't care about privacy. I want that on the record. I don't care about privacy.
I want
Okay.
you to get information from this gentleman.
Let me change that here, okay? I'd like to help you, that's okay? But your private information, you don't necessarily want. I mean, you might not want it out on.
So we
I
want
don't care.
I understand.
I'll take all the information that you want to do, let me help you.
So we want to make sure that before the meeting's over, that you give your contact information to Anthony, and Anthony will be in touch with you and be able to look at the information and get it updated. So you have a person in front of you from the Police Advisory Commission who you can contact directly.
Okay, now, wait a minute, there's a problem with me contacting him directly by phone because these detectives have my phones tapped and they have my outgoing calls diverted to imposters. So
Do you have email access?
I have email, but they tamper with my email account.
So
I'm having serious, this has been going on since July of 1999. Okay, they set my house on fire with me and I put all this into her. And emails, I haven't received a reply. Okay, attempted murder. They had 3rd Street Garage. I went there to have brakes put on my van at the time. One of them came in after me, said something to the mechanic. Had the mechanic, it turns out, put my brakes on, but never pulled them down. Attempted murder. Almost had accidents trying to stop. okay?
So we want to help you. What's your preferred way for Anthony to be in touch with you? Because you see him, you meet him here tonight. What's your preferred way to be in touch with him?
Is he on Spring Garden Street?
I am.
Well, then, you give me an appointment to come when you want me, I will come to you, okay?
When would you like to come see me?
When it's convenient, as soon as possible,
You wanna come tomorrow?
yes.
You can come see me tomorrow.
What time? In the morning, because it's supposed to be hot, yes.
Okay, we can do 9:30, 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock.
And if you want, you see this number on here? We're gonna, if you let me, I'll circle the number for you too.
No, don't write on this, I don't want you,
Do
no.
you see the number that says cell
Yes,
on it? That's a secure phone, nobody can tap that phone. So you can call me on it to schedule an appointment if you want, but
they may not be able to tap it, but they can divert my outgoing calls, which they do.
well, when you
I'm
come in
happy.
tomorrow, I can talk to you for as long as you
Well, this is, your email address?
It is.
Okay. All right, I might be able to, contact you by email. But, okay, so I have an appointment with you, tomorrow
At 10 o'clock.
at 10 o'clock. Okay.
Is there any other information you want to give to me now?
Well, I have it with me. I mean,
I can take a look at it out in the hall if you like.
okay,
You wanna come out?
okay. I have some of it with me. This is the Police Advisory Commission. I have tons, I have hundreds, if not a thousand pieces of paper.
Take a look at it.
My name is Sandra Yvonne Reader. I live, well, I don't want to put my address out.
That's all that. There.
Anything else for this evening? Yeah, no, okay.
Oh, I just have a question.
Please.
The status of the volunteer project. For the,
So the
for
data,
yeah.
the data's in, you just have to kind of do what did you call it, the
Social. I wanted
the
to.
social science piece of it.
Oh, okay. I
That's what
wanted
I'm
to
trying to say.
import that into that visualization software that I use. It's called Tableau, and I can either apply it in a map or, depending on the quality of the data, make some kind of interactive. I don't know if the goal ultimately is to have this as something that Marcel hosts on.
I think part of it is that, and he's now got access to the GIS pieces of the
great.
city side, so
Okay.
the mapping can exist. I also think there's some trends that we can look at, and some policy recommendations that can come of that. So, so the data is in.
Sure.
So all, wait, they completed reviewing all of it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
For 5
great.
years.
I thought it would take
For
longer.
5 years.
Yeah.
We have up to 5 years, all the way up to August
Going
of-
back, right?
Right, going back 5 years, so
That's
until
great.
August of, yes.
That's great. And in terms of the categories, it worked smoothly? There was no issues with this?
Right.
Not
We worked with what we had, but
Good.
there were some less consistencies, but yeah. I think we should be able to have that kind of on the agenda item for next month.
Anything else?
I just want to say, I was downtown earlier today, like most of you, I'm sure you saw what was going on with the expected protests. And for the past couple of days, we've seen detail around the MSB statue of former Mayor Rizzo. And today I was there, personnel there, helicopters circulating. As a taxpayer, I was so frustrated seeing our tax-paying dollars being thrown out of the window.
May I stop you for one minute?
Sure.
Mr. Chapin, would you be kind enough to close the door? I don't want the woman's confidential information to get picked up on any of the recording devices. Sorry to interrupt you.
No worries. But anyway, just as a concerned citizen, clearly I respect all positions, around that. I have my own personal opinion around that. But the first thing that came to mind was, okay, I respect everyone's First Amendment right to protest, to assemble but I couldn't help but to notice all of the detail and all of the manpower that went into that, and I couldn't help to ask myself, at the end of the day, what is going to be the final bill for what I'm looking at, and how could that money have been allocated to, I mean, I'm walking by, I'm seeing homeless people, I know that my children say sometimes their schools aren't up to par, I'm thinking about all of the needs of the people of our city, and how much are we gonna pay for what I just saw today, and how can we prevent wasting money like that in the future?
I don't have an answer for that. I can only tell you when I walked by, I had the same exact thought. That I'm not sure
A
how
helicopter
it
just
got to the
circulating for
top of the
hours.
priorities.
I thought, oh God.
So I can speak to logistics a bit based on one of my previous roles in the city. And so sometimes for protests, police who are on shift are reallocated. So if there were to perhaps, now I'm providing information, I'm not providing it because I have my papers, right, information. So sometimes police will, who are supposed to do traffic or on traffic duty for traffic directions, they come on shift at a certain hour, they may be re-traffic or highway may be redirected to a protest, or another division or someone else may be redirected towards protest. So it's not always allocated as overtime, not always. I don't know what this particular scenario is. I think that's a lot. I think there are a lot of people that think that's a lot. I think there are a lot of people on a lot of sides of the aisle that think it's a lot. But I will say that it's not always overtime that's used for those instances. Sometimes it is a real allocation for people who are already on duty. So if that makes you feel, if that could possibly make you feel any better about the resources, it may not be something extra.
I just want to know, when all is said and done, I wouldn't mind knowing how much was spent on that particular instance, right?
Right.
And I would hope that the city would look at that and say, what could we have done differently?
I think that's an appropriate request to ask at some point, what are the resources being invested in that? I know that there are some upcoming conversations in the city, not within City Hall, but in the community about people's feelings. And I think that one of the pieces of information as part of that discussion is what is the cost? Not just in actual dollars, but in diverting officers from other places. What does that look like? I think that that's an important consideration.
We're talking about public safety,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking about, public safety. And I'm not, this is not taking away anyone's right to protest. Everyone knows I am the #1 protester, but at the same time, you can't put yourself before the entire city of Philadelphia and the safety of other people, so.
Thank you for raising it. Anything else for this evening?
We're at the portion of public comment, so if there are any questions particularly you have, you are more than welcome to ask at this point. Thank you.
All right, I think with that then, we will adjourn the meeting at 7:05. Thank you for coming out this evening. We'll look forward to seeing you next month in King Sessom.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Have a good night.